I will be going over the webinar with you today. So welcome if you haven't joined us before. First off, we will do an acknowledgement of country. 30-foot drop acknowledges the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognises their continuing connection to land, waters and the community. We pay our respects to the Indigenous people, their beliefs and their cultures, both to past and present elders. 30-foot drop funding. 30-foot drop would like to acknowledge the Department of Communities Disability Services for funding this and many other initiatives. Without their help, so many projects such as Two Wise Monkeys wouldn't see the light of day and we'd be much more poorer for it as a community. So we're very, very grateful. This workshop is part of a Realities and Advantages Access and Inclusion grant awarded to 30-foot drop as part of an Information Linkages and Capacity Building grant for 2018 and 2019. Housekeeping. We will just go over some housekeeping that we do on every webinar, just to let you guys know how we work and how it all works. Unfortunately, we do not have all the resources to monitor all of the live streaming events. So if you are watching from YouTube or Facebook, you won't be able to send me a direct message or question. But if you do have a question, please head over to the link which is just below this video, www.30footdrop.com.au/live, and you can ask me any questions along the way. We'll be covering a lot of information in a short period of time, so we ask if attendees can try and minimise any distractions, which is a little bit hard nowadays with the current situation, with people being more at home with kids and stuff like that. But grab a pen and paper, grab some cup of tea, something to eat, and enjoy today. Please make sure that if you talk about 30-foot drop or the Two Wise Monkeys workshops, to share our information. We'd really love it and be grateful if our information can get out there, because the more people that know about what we're doing, the more changes can be made within the disability and impairment sector. And as well, if you know anyone that might benefit from these webinars, please send them our way. We record all of our webinars, so if you wanted to go back on this webinar and revisit something that we've talked about, you can rewind it once I've hit the end button. It's then posted to all of our platforms, which is Facebook, YouTube, and our website, which is the 30-foot drop website below this video. At the end of the webinar, we do have a short survey. There's only a few questions on there, and we'd really appreciate the feedback. If you guys could fill that out for us, that'd be awesome. Okay, let me introduce myself. I am Lisa, and I am one of the Two Wise Monkeys. I am hear no evil. So through me today, I hope that you will hear no evil about impairment. My story is more of a hidden impairment. At the age of 8, I was diagnosed with mild dyslexia. Teachers used to hit me on the head and yell at me and read out my low marks to try and embarrass me, I'm not sure. It just made me feel completely dumb and unworthy within the classroom. I used to go home crying to my mum every day, and it was really hard for people to understand what was going on until I was diagnosed. But I'm here today to tell you not to give up, because you will have something within you that you are good at. You will find your passion. And luckily for me, I was so determined to prove everyone wrong, and the teachers especially wrong. So I found out that I was quite good at art and creative stuff. So that's where my path took me. I've worked all around the world in many art galleries. I've done picture framing for 10, 12 years. I have a museum grade certificate to work with museum grade fine art. All around the world, I've used those certificates in arts diploma. I've had my own exhibitions, sold artwork, and I also sell photography at present. So please, if you know anyone with a learning impairment or dyslexia or something like that, Let them know not to give up, because they will have something that they are good at, and it doesn't matter that you're not an amazing speller or an amazing mathematician, because there'll be something that you're good at, and normally it is more of a creative thing or singing or something like that. But follow your passions and follow your dreams, and don't let anyone bring you down. Now, the other monkey is Ben, and he's the director of these workshops, 30-foot drop and the two wise monkeys. He has a disability which is more obvious through an accident that he had, but I will let him tell you his story when we see him next. But the reason why we are doing these workshops is because he found after his accident that people just don't know enough about disability and impairment, and that's why we're here today. We're to help people, hopefully employ people with disability and impairment, and just to get messages out there that we're all the same and we all deserve to be treated equally, no matter what our impairment or disability. So when we look at the monkeys, I'm sure there's supposed to be three wise monkeys. There's hear no evil, see no evil, but where is speak no evil? You guys can take a guess as to who you might think speak no evil is. Today's speak no evil is you. So the aim of today's workshop is to turn you into that wise monkey. You'll begin on a journey of realizing, impairment or not, we are all human and deserve to be acknowledged and treated in the same way as everyone else. So if you really wanted to become that wise monkey today, you yourself can become one by purchasing one of these awesome t-shirts that we now have. So that's our Speak No Evil t-shirt. We take these to workshops and they sell like hotcakes. So if you want to purchase one of those, please head over to our website, which is the 30-foot drop link below this video. Head into shop and you can choose from black or white. As you can see behind me, I've got two of the t-shirts there. So you can choose black or white, and they start from size 5 kid size to size 5XL adult size. Really good quality and really quirky and fun. Okay, now we will go over the outline and method of today's workshop, how to employ people with impairment. So, how are we going to get you started on the path of the wise monkey? Well, there's a lot to learn about people with impairment and how to employ these amazing people within your business or service. First up, we're going to look at the disability employment service providers, what they are and how they can help you in your business. After that, we will go through 5 tips on how you can prepare your business to employ people with a disability or impairment. To finish up, we'll have an open forum where you can ask any questions you like, but please feel free to send any along the way if you like. So, how are we going to cover this? What will our teaching method be? The answer is fun and open and honest discussion. Feel free once again to ask any questions. If we can't be open and honest with each other about disability and impairment, then nothing's going to change. We need to talk about what needs to be changed, exactly like what Ben discovered after his accident. It needed to be talked about. It needed to be put to the forefront of everyone's minds that we are all equal, that people with disability and impairment deserve the same things as everyone else. They deserve jobs. They deserve to be respected. They deserve to be included. And that is why we're here today. You'll notice though that there's very little written content on the slides, and that is to make it easy for you guys to all interact with the webinar. It's not complex information where you're trying to keep up with all the wording on the screen, and we also don't believe in death by PowerPoint. But as well, it's so that we can interact with each other and communicate with questions and messages and stuff like that, especially in our live workshops. You know, we want to keep it fun and open. So now we will go through the terminology of these 4 words, which are disability versus impairment and access and inclusion. First up, we will talk about impairment. Impairment is an injury, illness, or congenital condition that causes or is likely to cause a loss or difference of physiological or psychological function. In short, your impairment is your medical diagnosis. So my medical diagnosis is that I was diagnosed with mild dyslexia. A disability, on the other hand, is the loss or limitation of opportunities to take part in society on an equal level due to social and environmental barriers. It is, as the word implies, something that makes you unable to access or participate in something. And for someone like me or someone with another kind of learning disability, too much wording, complex information, or stylized script can make it very difficult for people with dyslexia to understand or get the right messages that they need to use your service. This is especially important information to remember because some disabilities and impairments are hidden. So if you have a website and you've got complex information, so much information here and so much information here, and then go here and then do this and then click on this, it's going to be very overwhelming for someone with a learning disorder, someone with a disability, or someone with an impairment. So please make sure that if you have a website like that, just make it simple and easy to use. A bit like our webinar now. It's easy and simple to follow, and that is perfect for every single human being. So just keep that in mind, that if you do feel your website or your marketing, anything to do with that kind of stuff is complex and too confusing for people, that could be confusing for people with disability, then think about changing it. Anyway, I hope that makes sense, the difference between disability and impairment. Now we will talk about access and inclusion. A lot of people get these two words mixed up and think it's the same thing, whereas in fact it's not. Access refers to the removal or reduction of physical barriers to participate in activities and functions of a community. So it's talking about the removal of the physical barriers. At its core, access focuses a lot on the physical world around us and can be assessed with a checklist. So if you have a business that is up a little hill or something, or there's stairs to get up there, then someone with limited mobility or is in a wheelchair is not going to be able to access your business or service. So they're missing out on using it. It's not accessible. Inclusion is more of a psychological state of being, whereas inclusion is more of a physiological state of being, and is the process hereby every person, irrespective of their age, gender, sexual preference, religion, or nationality, who wishes to, can participate fully in all aspects of an activity or service in the same way as every other member in the community. Inclusion is making sure that everyone feels included. So, your business needs to be inclusive to every single human being, no matter what they look like, where they come from, or how they appear. You need to make sure that your service is inclusive to everyone. Right, okay, if we have any questions about the terminology, please feel free to message me. Let's get into today's workshop. Disability Employment Services. What are they? Disability Employment Services help people with a disability or impairment find work and keep a job. Providers of disability employment services are called DES providers for short. Through DES providers, people with disability, injury or health condition may be able to receive assistance to prepare for, find and keep a job. How awesome is this? And who here listening did not even know about these guys? It's amazing how many people aren't aware. DES providers are a mix of large, medium and small for-profit and non-for-profit organisations that are experienced in supporting people with disability and impairment, as well as aiding employers to put in place practices that support the employees in the workplace. So if you are having difficulty finding work, please contact your local DES provider or have a look for more information on our website. So there is lots of information on our website, which is the link below this video, and anything I talk about today, you can look more into on the website. There's all the resources and readings and researches and stats on there. So if you wanted to look further into anything, it's all on our website. Okay, next is how are DES providers funded? DES providers are funded by the government. Providers receive payment for helping participants to find and maintain work. Payments are structured so that providers earn more funding when they place more people into lasting employment. This acts as an incentive to make sure that they are making the right possible matches. So if you're worried that you go to the DES provider looking for someone to come into your workplace, the DES provider is not just going to give you anyone. They're going to give you someone that is well suited to that position, which is what we all want. Okay. Services. These are job matching, role creation, and support. How does this all work through the DES provider? First up is job matching. How do DES providers make sure that they find the right match? It's about understanding both parties' needs. The DES provider is the link between the two. The DES provider will help the job seeker find the career history and the aspirations. They will help understand their barriers and work with those. They will help with the employee by exploring their qualities and capabilities in order to then work with the business. They will also get the candidates as job ready as they can through work experience, training, and volunteering, making sure they are definitely ready before starting the job within your business. Now, the way that the DES providers help the business is the DES providers will help the employee understand the employer's new business needs, describe and discuss business dynamics, and create that suitable role that suits both parties. Once the employer and the employee fully understand both parties' needs, they then match them with the job that meets their needs. Now, where do these clients come from? DES candidates are not forced into employment. So in saying this, you haven't got someone that doesn't want to be there. They are already actively looking for a job through the DES provider, so they are ready to come and work for you. And if you were watching yesterday, they find it takes people with disability and impairment double the rest of society to find work. And one of Ben's friends actually applied for a job 183 times. So that takes patience, and it just shows they really, really want that job. So please think about it. So how do they how do they get to the DES providers? How do they find out about it? They come in a number of ways. These are through word of mouth, self-referral following a discussion with a team member, family, or friend member. Self-referral after exposure to advertising, social media platforms. Referral from a health professional, community agency, or school. Self-determining move from another provider. Referral from Centrelink or another government agency. Community talks, community help desks and pop-up shops. Discussions with health and community agencies and schools. Employment forums and expos, and of course this webinar today. So there's lots and lots of people that know about the DES providers and are going to get the information to you as much as they can. Now, role creation. This is a good one. What is it? It's all about improving the business's efficiency. Finding a task that can be done by people less qualified and cheaper, allowing the more qualified to then continue on being productive. So let's give an example of this. Okay, so there are 4 mechanics employed at a workshop. They spend at least 30 minutes each day cleaning up the workshop. During this time, they are not creating profit, and costing a total of 2 hours' wages. Employing someone to come in for 2 hours a day at a lower rate will allow the mechanics to continue generating profit and will also give a job and that opportunity to someone with a disability or impairment to work and earn their own money. So it works both ways. It's going to make both parties happy. Definitely another thing to think about doing within your business. And how amazing would it feel to be able to do that for someone? It would just be so cool. So hopefully that's all making sense so far. If you do have any questions, please head over to the chat box, which is on our website, www.30footdrop.com.au/live. Right, let's head into now support. As well as job matching and role creation, DES providers also offer the following 2 free services. They are candidate support and application assistance. First off, we will talk about candidate support. DES providers support their candidates in their role by regular on and off site visits, where they ensure the candidate continues understanding the employer's expectations and needs. They look for any requirements for assistive technology for both parties. They're going to look after both parties. Monitoring and developing requirements to maintain performance. So if there's something that the employee is getting stuck with and they're not quite maintaining the performance, then the DES provider mentor will come in and help you both with figuring out how to move on from that or make it better. They will deal with any questions swiftly, and most DES providers will be contactable outside of the office for any questions or queries you have or the employee has. Next up is application support. How can they help you with the applications? The DES providers will provide free assistance with the following: wage support applications, wage support subsidies, and workplace modifications via Job Access. Both these subsidy sources were covered in webinar part 1, which was yesterday, which you can book into if you missed it, or you're welcome to watch it through again. So the DES providers will fill out all the paperwork, they will sort it all out, just so it makes it easy and the process just to be smooth for both parties, because if it's not, then that's when businesses are put off going through with hiring someone from a DES provider. So it's all made easy, but you are welcome to fill out those forms if you like. They don't have to do it, but why not get them to do it? They know what they're doing. Okay, so how to get started. You're sitting there and you're thinking, hang on, I think I might like to employ someone with a disability or impairment. It just sounds so positive and so meaningful to someone. So first off, what do? Get in touch with your local DES provider. Provide them with the required information. Employ the matched candidate. The DES provider will gather the required evidence and fill out all of the paperwork. Now you can enjoy your amazing employee. Now let's prepare your business. Now that you've employed, you've signed the paperwork, you're going to get this person in to come into your work and work. Let's now look at preparing your business. So now that you have committed to employing someone with a disability or impairment, what is next? Here are 5 tips on how to get you started and ensure your new employee reaches their full potential. Candidate selection. As with all hiring, it's important to get the right match. A person's disability may be quite irrelevant to the kind of work required, which means people with disability are employed all across the board. Using a DES provider will give you access to a far wider pool of people. That's along with objective and relevant advice when making your decision. So they become important for getting that right balance. If you feel like you can do it on your own, that's fine, but to make that right balance, the DES providers are really the right way to go. Disability awareness training within your business. Many people are apprehensive about dealing with a new team member living with a disability or impairment. Conducting targeted training for your staff can address these questions and help people be more confident with working with their new colleague and vice versa. This promotes positive attitudes and teamwork and ensures everyone is treated equally and fairly. Funding is available for awareness training through Job Access. So it's really beneficial if you had someone coming in that couldn't talk, couldn't speak, and they used sign language. So Job Access has funding available where you can bring someone in that teaches Auslan, and your workers can learn a bit of Auslan to then communicate with that person that has a hearing impairment. So that would be amazing, and it gives everyone the chance to understand both sides and to be able to communicate. Right, accessibility within your workplace. Preparing the workplace so that it is accessible will allow the employee to do their job and help with a smooth onboarding process, making sure the person with the disability is involved because they know what works best for them. The needs will vary depending on the employee's disability or health condition, of course. And funding is available for any workplace modifications. And other considerations may include changes to the roster, work times and practices, because sometimes it's harder for someone with a disability or impairment to be at work at 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes they have a carer, which takes them a few hours to get ready. So you need to be a bit considerate in that way when you can allow that person to maybe come into work later and work later. Just work around what's going to work for both of you and accommodate their needs. Okay, so there is always support within this business, and these are induction and mentoring. Your new employee should receive an induction, relevant workplace training, and ongoing support through a designated buddy or mentor, especially in the early stages of their employment. So think about any reasonable adjustments beforehand that may be necessary to make in the induction and intake process and make it as mutually rewarding as possible. So it's like any other job where you go in, you've started a new job. You're always going to have that buddy or that mentor that's with you for a couple of weeks, helping you, teaching you the ropes of the job type thing. So somebody with a disability and impairment, of course, is no different. So make sure they've got a buddy looking after them at the workplace. And they'll also have their DES provider mentor as well. So, post-placement consultant. This is the last one for today. If your new employee is connected with a DES provider, then they will have that consultant allocated to provide post-placement support completely free of charge. In addition to supporting the employee, the consultant is also intended as a go-to person if you have any questions or concerns. Use the consultant as a free resource to you and your team to ensure things run smoothly, and especially in the first few months of the role. The DES providers want to make it work, and they want to make it as successful as possible. So you're the employer, you've got issues or concerns you want to talk to your employee about. Maybe first contact the DES provider because they will know how best to sort it out. So it's really, really nice to know as a business that you're not just left on your own and not really knowing how to deal with it. You're always going to have that support person with you alongside the employee. So if you need modifications or you need extra things done, then you can go directly to that DES provider consultant and they will be more than willing to help you sort it out. So I hope that all makes sense today, and I hope you're now thinking and excited to ring up that DES provider and have a look for someone for your business to come and create a role for them and save money and all of that. And it's going to work both ways. If you can employ someone with a disability or impairment, you're going to make someone's day, totally make someone's day. And They will make your day back, I'm sure. So, thank you for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the webinar part 2. If you have any questions, please now jump into the chat box. I will be hitting the end button for 5 minutes, and anyone can ask any questions or queries or feedback. But if you do have to go, please fill out the survey. Jump into this link below the video. Jump into the link and fill out that survey. So hit webinar tapping in part 2 and fill out the survey. Easy peasy. Okay, thanks for joining me. I will be back in a few minutes to answer any questions if there is any today. Thank you very much, and I will see everybody again tonight. I'm doing this again tonight, so if you know anyone that you think will benefit from this, send them along. It's at 6 p.m. I will see everyone else soon. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. There are no questions this morning, which is totally fine. I hope you all enjoyed today, and please fill out the survey before you go. And if you feel like this webinar today could benefit anyone, I will be doing it again at 6 p.m. tonight, Western Australia time. Okay, have a good day, everyone. Stay warm. Thanks for joining me. Bye.